the mission of the 70. All right, so the words of the master, as always, we're looking at kind of systematically, chronologically, all of the words that Yeshua actually spoke. All the words that he spoke, the things that he said, and the situations that caused him to speak. If we look over at Luke chapter 10, I think if we just go ahead and read Luke chapter 10 from 1 to 24, and then we'll go ahead and talk about what it is that we see here Yeshua talking about, and we'll deal with a few of things from it. Luke 10, 1 all the way down to 24.
All right, Luke chapter 10. And after this, the master appointed 70 others and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him into every city and place where he himself was about to go. And he said to them, the harvest indeed is great, but the workers are few. Therefore, pray the master of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest. Go, see, I send you out as lambs in the midst of wolves. Do not take a purse, nor a bag, nor sandals, and greet no one along the way. And whatever house you enter, first say, peace to this house. And if indeed a son of peace is there, your peace shall rest on it. And if not, it shall return to you and stay in the same house, eating and drinking whatever with them, for the laborer is worthy of his wages. Do not move from house to house. And into whatever city you enter, and they receive you, eat whatever is placed before you, and heal the sick there, and say to them, the reign of Elohim has come near to you. And into whatever city you enter, and they do not receive you, go out into its streets and say, even the dust of your city which clings to us, we wipe off against you. But know this, that the reign of Elohim has come near to you, and I say to you that it shall be more bearable for Sidon in that day, than for that city. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles which were done in you have been done in Sor and Sidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it shall be more bearable for Sor and Sidon in the judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, who are exalted to the heaven, shall be brought down to Sheol. He who hears you hears me. He who rejects you rejects me, and he who rejects me, him rejects him who sent me. And the 70 returned with joy, saying, Master, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan falling out of the heaven as lightning. See, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the heavens. And in that hour, Yeshua exalted the Spirit and said, I praise you, Father, Master of the heaven and the earth, that you have hidden these matters from clever and learned ones, but did not reveal them to babes. Yes, Father, because thus it was well pleasing in your sight. All has been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and he to whom the Son wishes to reveal them. And turning to his top ones, he said separately, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I say to you that many prophets and sovereigns have wished to see what you see, and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear, and have not heard it."
All right, very good. So, you see over here, we're looking at Luke. It's interesting when we look at kind of the way that we kind of been going. We've been in John for a few consecutive chapters here, and now we kind of go outside of John over into Luke. And it begins over here with Yeshua appointing these 70 others, as it says. These are disciples, like unto the 12, but these are kind of the ancillary extensions of the mission, the ministry that Yeshua is doing. These ones are unnamed disciples. It's interesting when we look at some of the historical writings from the traditions of the early church fathers. They actually mention and say they actually have a list of who these 70 persons was. Again, it's kind of just early tradition. I don't know, because the Bible, as we know it, doesn't really say who's who. They actually mention Luke in the 70, which I and also some of the commentators question, because you think about the fact of Luke sometimes being associated with Paul, who obviously came after Yeshua was, on the scene. So if you say that Luke was one of the 70, I guess maybe you could agree if you maybe thought that Luke came on the scene before Paul. But it just seems like from the scriptures, Luke is someone who is associated with Paul, which makes it hard for Luke to have been kind of one of these 70. But anyway, the fact...
The other disciples, they were sent out before.
Yes, before.
They came back already.
Yeah.
Did the 12 stay with you?
You talking about at this time? I think here it's only really dealing with the sending out of the 70. Even though we do see that the 12 were also sent out. But it seems as if what the 70 is doing is going out and kind of, if we think about Yeshua as the sower, the 70 is kind of going out and preparing the way.
So are you with the 70 or 72?
You know what? It's interesting that they say the 72, and I don't know where they say. I don't know where that comes from, because there's. I think what it is that there's different translations and versions that mention 72 there.
I guess you can't send out 72 by 2. Well,
Seven, it's an even number. Yes, you can, right?
So it would be 35. Oh, I guess 35 sets of two.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. It's an even number.
It's
but-
divisible by two.
So I'm
right?
thinking I was thinking 35 sets of two. If you do.
What were you thinking? Half of 70?
Half of 70 is 35 sets of two, but if it was 72, it would be 36 sets of two.
I did see that even the scriptures version says 72. But I think that they're saying that only because there's these other versions of the text that use that number. I think the point is whether it was 70 or 72 is that the fact that you have this, these preparers of the way of Messiah that were appointed by Messiah doing the same work of the disciples, but that were kind of, not in the same position necessarily as the disciples, where it seems as if there's kind of like a division in order and structure that's going on. We hear of the 12, we hear of the 3, we know their names, we know that they're privy to kind of the inside knowledge that Messiah has, more so than anyone else. And so, but it's interesting that we see the necessity that the Master Yeshua has in understanding that, he and his 12 disciples is not enough to even handle this proximity that is, the Israel and the touching places. It's necessary to have more workers to go out and do the job, in preparation even for his coming. Which, when we think about the fact of, here we're talking about just the fact of Yeshua actually literally going to this place or that place. His coming, just physical coming. But we see that it's necessary for there to be this, this preparation, this proclamation, this declaration of his coming in preparation of his coming. And so it's on, to a greater scale, to another degree, we can think about us now as those, being sent out, preparing for the coming of the Master, doing all of the things that he would be doing before he gets there, but getting you ready, causing you to be familiar with what it is that he is going to be doing before he actually comes and does it. And so he did it on that scale in terms of him physically going around, but we see once everything kind of is finalized, that that pattern that he started while he was still here, it goes on all the way up until just right now, based on the same truth that he said over here in verse number 2. Read verse number 2 again for us.
He said to them, Then he said to them, the harvest indeed is great, but the workers are few. Therefore, pray the master of the harvest to send out workers in his harvest.
I thought this was interesting because when he says over here that the harvest is great, the harvest is great. And not only is the harvest great, but the workers are few. So therefore, then he says the master of the harvest, he said, pray that the master of the harvest send out workers into his harvest. I thought it was interesting that he's praying here for the workers and not the harvest. To me, that's interesting. The harvest is great, but the workers are few. But then, therefore, pray the master of the harvest to send out workers into the harvest. He's praying for the workers to go out. Why is the prayer for the laborers and not the harvest?
Because the harvest needs the workers.
The harvest is there.
The harvest is the lost. So you need some help.
We need those able bodies that can deal with the harvest.
Harvesters can't. I figure the harvest can't help themselves.
The harvest can't help itself. The harvest is going to happen. The harvest is going to be made manifest. But a harvest can only be a harvest if it's harvested.
The harvest is default. You need workers though to get it.
Look at this word here. Look at the word that's translated as harvest there in Luke 10 chapter 2 right there.
Reaping. That is a crop. Harvest.
Put that up there on the thing.
Shoot.
You know how to do it?
I'm trying to figure out how to get the number at the bottom.
You gotta put Control W or whatever that is.
Control W.
Just click on that on the main text and then hit Control W.
I see.
Whatever that is. Command W. No, no, just hit Command W.
I got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you can hit on harvest, and you can see that word therismos, which is the reaping. The word is the reaping, that is the crop or harvest. You can't have a reaping unless you reap it. It got to be reaped. A harvest is harvested. I got a whole bunch of tomatoes growing on the back of my backyard that I didn't never harvest. I didn't never take them off of the thing. I never harvested them. Right? The harvest got to be harvested. The thing that is sown has to actually be reaped. And so you can have a whole bunch of things that you would consider to be the harvest, but unless you harvest it, it's not the harvest. It can sit there and rot on the thing.
That's what it's on right now.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's said that the harvest is indeed great. There's going to be a whole bunch of crop that needs to be gathered in. And so that part is, as you said, the harvest is default. Everybody is just by default bound to judgment. Your default is condemnation because of sin. Unless the harvesters, the workers, go out and do as he's commanding these 70 to do, as he's already commanded the 12 to do, as he himself is going out and doing and calling for the people to repent and turn back to the Most High. Lest the people go and do that, you're going to be where you're at, which is lost. And so the Most High created this way that makes it necessary for people to trust in people. That's why he's praying for the workers, because the harvest, the people that need help, is going to always be there. But somebody got to come and help the people, though. And so he set the thing up like that. And so, people want to sit up here and talk about, well, I'm just going to wait and see till the Most High come and show me this sign out of the sky and drop this thing right down into my lap by myself. But the thing that we see Yeshua sitting up here doing is sending people out. And those sent out people is the ones who are causing for the harvest to actually be the harvest and be harvested.
Maria, you think that's why whenever they was all his disciples originally, whenever they saw John the Baptist immersing people, they was like, what are we supposed to, like, what are they doing and all this? And he was like, let them be. Like, don't be trying to stop, them from doing the work.
Yes, because those people is going to eventually be the ones that are doing the things that Yeshua is instituting over here. Those same ones. There are, John the Baptist. He's already that's his thing. Repent. And so the thing that he's doing, he's paving the way. He paved the way for Yeshua to come. And then now Yeshua, in his, purposes here, essentially, as far as these people are concerned, Yeshua's continuing John the Baptist's thing. We could know after the fact that it's the other way around. Yeshua is the predecessor. John is just coming and the predecessor of Yeshua. But from the people that's there, if they go back and look, wasn't nobody going around doing. He's John the Immerser. Like, he's known for going around and baptizing and immersing people. And then so for Yeshua to come on the scene and that kind of be his thing that he does, looking at it, he's doing what John instituted. But when you go back and look and talk to and see what John has to say about it, he is the other way around. But the point here is the fact that the Most High chose this way not for people to just to have something fall down and just him come and have these miraculous dropping out of the sky things happen to you as an individual, but for this thing that he started to continue in terms of people seeing and hearing the master's message and taking that message and going out and sharing that message that the master initiated. And so for the harvest to actually be a harvest, you need harvesters. The harvest only is because of what happens to it, which is, someone actually gathering it in. And so we see over in verse 2, when Yeshua here is praying for the workers to be sent out, it helps us to understand that that's kind of a key component of this whole thing, that somebody got to go and do the work. And it's not even an easy work. It's a hard work. But somebody got to go out and do it, because in verse 3, he said, I'm sending you out like lambs in the midst of wolves. What's a lamb going to do in the midst of wolves besides get eaten up? It's not even like, oh, since there's a whole bunch of lambs, they'll be safe because they outnumber the wolves. It don't even got to be a whole bunch of wolves. But he said, I'm sending you out as lambs in the midst of wolves.
Surrounded.
Yeah, by things that's going to eat him. He's surrounded by, well, I don't want to say things that's going to eat him, but things that only present danger for them. He's not telling the people this so that they could be worried. He's letting them know that this task is not a natural task. In fact, it's unnatural. It's unnatural for a lamb to go and hang out and purposefully go in the midst of wolves. It's when you think about it from a natural perspective, it's unnatural for the shepherd to send his lamb into the midst of wolves. The shepherd usually gets the wolves out of there. But he sends the lambs out, in this case, into the midst of the wolves. But the things that he says after, it seems, helps for us to be able to understand that as the shepherd, these things are still the natural thing that a shepherd would do is still being done, but just in another way. Because when we look at what he says over here, like especially in verse 4, they're not putting their trust in whatever it is they're able to do for the situation, but they're trusting only in the master and what he has sent them out to do, the mission. Because he said, don't take a purse or a bag or sandals. I mean, he probably got on sandals, but don't take no extra ones. Right? And it's not about, when it says don't take a purse, it's really talking about the money that would be in the purse. Right? You're not taking an extra pair of clothes or shoes, these things that you would typically do in preparation for going out and going on a journey, but instead the whole way you're trusting in the Most High. And then that's interesting, they say, greet no one along the way, but I thought that the whole thing about you going out was to be able to deal with the harvest. So why do it say and greet no one along the way? Because that's the point of that. How did that read in the King James, verse 4?
Neither purse nor scrip nor shoes, and salute no man by the way.
Okay, so it's basically the same. But it's dealing with in the middle of the journey. If you going somewhere, get to where you going. If you stopping every second, hey brother, I got something to talk to you about. Come here, let me holler at you.
Exactly.
And you finish talking to him, oh yeah, let me talk to you too. Get to where you going.
Be distracted.
And then now you do what you came there to do. But in the middle, you can't stop at every stop. You got to go to the place where you going. And then do your thing there. So that's what he's talking about. The whole point is to go and deal with people. It's not to not deal with people, but the idea here is in the midst, in between, from A to B. Don't stop at A and a half. Get all the way to B first, and then, right?
I think because if they talk to every single one, they would just be distracted. They would never make it to where they're going.
Yeah, there got to be some kind of focus. There got to be some kind of focus, huh?
They might get killed. You know, they talk to the wrong person about Yeshua. You know.
Yeah, he's saying don't stop and talk to the wolves.
Don't talk to the wolf.
Yeah. And then as it goes on, right? As it goes on, it talks about the attitude that they should have. First of all, they're dependent on people to kind of take them in. And to, I guess, make it more easier, bring blessings to the place where you go. First say peace to this house. Peace be unto you. Be a good border in the place. And just stay there. You don't got to go to a bunch of different places. If somebody open up their spot to you, you go ahead and stay there. They try to eat. Somebody ever try to do something nice and let me make you something to eat? No, it's okay. It's cool. I'll just eat this little piece of something I got right here. No, go ahead and eat the stuff that they got. Let the people that you go and that are helping you, let them help you and eat and drink whatever it is that they give you, because you're worth it. Because the task that you're doing is worthy of his wages, it says.
That reminds me of the Torah portion.
Yeah, that's what Abraham did when he saw those people.
That's what he did on the other side. He's on the end of taking in those that are doing the Most High's work. I mean, it was the Most High, but right? But he's on the other end, and so he's that labor is worthy of the wages. Now, people, to me, I don't. When I look at verse 8, read verse 8 again for us here.
It says, I'm still, okay. And into whatever city you enter, and they receive you, eat whatever is placed before you.
Okay, that don't mean if somebody, you going somewhere and them bringing you food, you're not going to look at this verse and say, well, somebody gave you a plate of pork, you eat it. Because that's not food to the people that they're talking to or about. And so we always have to think about the context of what's being written. We now could go somewhere to some people's house and sit down to a meal that they make and be wary of them giving us something that we don't classify as food. But to these people who are going around in this area dealing with essentially their own people who had a particular way that they lived, the point here is not just eat whatever you eat, whether it's clean or unclean. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is here is receiving the hospitality that the people are trying to give to you. Not to say that, you know, if somebody cooks up some rat stew, just eat it. I don't think that that's the point here. I think the point here is receive the goodness that these people who are helping you, receive that goodness that they're giving to you, and don't reject it.
You see that with people like a black man will learn Chinese. We'll go to China and they're shocked that he knows Chinese so well. They be like, come on in, come sit down. You want to eat? You can see that with every culture and language. If you act right, and especially they don't expect you to know their language, you can talk to them. You see that all the time. They bring you in and take care of you. That's a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so.
I was thinking about some of the places we've been to, some fellowships where food was not as desirable, and
Okay, so I think that's a perfect example right there. That's a perfect example because the food may not be the way that you like for the food to be, but it's still food.
Are you being ungrateful now?
That's what it is. That's the only thing it
Now
is.
you're being ungrateful.
That's the only thing it is. That's exactly what it is. So he's saying, be grateful for the help that these people are trying to visit. They know how. It may not be the same way that you do it, but they're helping you, and they're being hospitable to you. And so receive that. Receive that.
Just be like, you got some salt? Okay. There you go.
That's it. I know, because some of the young people was acting funny up there at the other Sukkot we was at about that food. I just ate the food. It was good. I mean, I'm not even gonna say that. I almost said it was good food. Like it was acceptable food.
it was something to put in your mouth.
It was edible.
The desired effect of the food was met. You know, you hungry, you eat.
Okay, well tell them what was on the tables at the place.
I mean, now your people got all the seasonings
On their tables.
on the table, all the seasonings
Everything you can think of.
that you could think of, not just like a travel salt and pepper, but like all the seasonings that just add to.
Sazon.
I don't get it. What you mean? You gotta put your own seasoning on it.
he said, okay.
That's what you had to do? Season your own food?
That's what people was doing. That's what people was
They
doing.
brought it up. They brought their seasoning up. Oh.
Multiple people brought their seasoning stuff. Yeah, all kinds of seasonings. Every seasoning that's in the store on the
Wow.
shelf, plus every condiment, including mambo
I've
sauce.
never seen nothing like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Mambo sauce was up there.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I wish I would have seen it. But
You wish you would have seen it.
I'm saying, I'm saying that the point over here is to receive that blessing that these people are giving. Okay, so it's interesting. Read let's see here. Read verse 9. Let's see. 9, 10, and 11. Again.
And heal the sick there and say to them, the reign of Elohim has come near to you.
Okay, let's just deal with this first. First, dealing with those that are healed. Heal the sick. It's interesting because when you think about Yeshua, he goes and he heals the sick. There's places where he goes and he can't heal. And those people didn't receive what he had to give. But in the places where he healed, those people, they received the things that he gave, that he had to give. And so he said, you say to those ones, the reign of Elohim has come near to you. You've experienced the kingdom of Elohim just right now. He says, say that to them. But what do he say about, to read verse 10 and 11?
And into whatever city you enter, and they do not receive you, go out into the streets and say, even the dust of your city which clings to us, we wipe off against you, to know this, that the reign of Elohim has come near to you. Okay,
so it ends the same way, telling them that the reign of Elohim has come near to you, but the other part is a different part, because the people that are healed, you say something to them. There's something said to the actual one that receives that healing, the fact that the reign of Elohim has come to you. But when you go to a place and they don't receive you, it said go out into the streets and say. Why wouldn't it just say, you just say to that one who didn't receive you? But he said go out into the streets, you make a proclamation and a declaration of the denial of the kingdom by the deniers. He said even the dust of your city which clings to us is wiped out.
Oh my goodness.
It's like harsh. Like it's really some harsh things that goes towards these deniers. And it's not even like a private thing. Like it's you going and making this thing known in the open about the fact that this denying of Yeshua has taken place. I thought it was interesting, just a contrast between the one and the other. The one, go ahead and say to the one that accepted it, say to them what has happened. But when it talks about when you go into this other place and then these people don't receive you, it said go out into the streets. You make a big deal about the fact that these people is some deniers here.
Yeah.
Anybody have any thoughts about it? Jim?
Alright, I have a silly question.
I'm sure it's not silly.
I'm not sure it's nice.
So my question is, in regards to people receiving the disciples and Yeshua, how are they to determine who they are by sight and to accept them, not knowing who they are as strangers?
Who do you mean?
I mean, I'm talking about the people in general. When they go into the city,
people who not talking about the sent out ones or the ones that are getting sent out.
no, I'm not talking about the disciples. I'm talking about like the disciples going into the city, going into the city and amongst the sheep, right? How are the sheep to determine who they are? They're not presenting themselves in the sense of like how they know these are good people to speak to. You know what I mean? How do the sheep know that you are a good person? Why would I take you into my home? I don't know you, right? They must be able to see or determine your spirit, right? To know that you are a good person. Just like you explained when Abraham saw the Most High, knew who he was, he had to have that discernment to know this is the Father, right? So, to me, my question is, how did the people know that the disciples were good people, right? To accept them into the home.
Well, so when they would go, say to a particular place. And then they get to the place. I don't mean somebody's house, I'm saying just a city. They're going to a specific city and they go to that city. And so they're out there proclaiming the kingdom of Elohim. And they're also, they've been empowered by Messiah to go and heal. So they're going and doing the things that Yeshua was doing. They're just doing it, outside of Yeshua in preparation for him coming to these various places. So their works then that they're doing is the thing that's causing people to look and see, these people are worthy because they're doing these works. The same thing that Yeshua said about his own self. My works bear witness of me. And so it's the same thing. And so they would go to these places. They do these things. They're preaching this message. People are believing and say, "Oh, dude, you need somewhere to." So they're seeing the manifestation of the goodness of the Most High, and making decisions and their actions is based on that. And so, it's the same thing that Yeshua is saying. If you see these things that I'm doing and you're still sitting up here acting like I'm of the devil, it's really you that are of the devil, right? And so, I think that the same thing is true. If they're going around and they're manifesting the character of the Most High, and they're doing these good works, for the people, they're making it kind of evident who it is that is sending them. And the other thing is that when you look down, when we go all the way down, let's go all the way down to the bottom of what we were reading, because this part is relevant to what we're talking about right now. Read again the last verses there, 22, 23, and 24.
All has been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and he whom the Son wishes to reveal him. And turning to his top ones, he said separately, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see."
Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, sorry.
For I say to you that many prophets and sovereigns have wished to see what you see and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear and have not heard it.
Okay, so it said that all has been delivered to me, Yeshua saying this, by the Father. No one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and he to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. And so Yeshua is being revealed to those who, so these people are having a revelation. They see what is being done, and the goodness of the Most High is being revealed to them through revelation, through the Ruach HaKodesh, through the Holy Spirit, right? And so when people are receiving this revelation, the thing that I kind of wanted to deal with is the fact that he said over here, let's also add to that, 21. Should have read 21 first. Read 21.
In that hour, Yeshua exalted in the Spirit and said, I praise you, Father, Master of the heaven and of the earth, that you have hidden these matters from clever and learned ones and did not reveal them to babes. Yes, Father, because thus it is well pleasing in your sight.
So the people who were clever and were learned and who were, because of their knowledge, which puffeth up, and because of pride in these people who were so quote unquote knowledgeable, and the verse even says clever, learned ones, the things that Yeshua was doing was hidden to them.
They're the first ones that will reject them.
Yeah, the ones who you would think who have so much knowledge and understanding, quote unquote, who know the scriptures back and forth, who should have been able to look and see who Yeshua was and his works be manifest, and then they say, oh, this is who we've been waiting for. Those people, the thing was hidden from them.
Yep.
And the ones who the knowledge of him was revealed to was the ones who he's calling here as babes, the one who don't have the quote unquote knowledge, the biblical information. These things was revealed to them. Look at Proverbs 29 and 23. Proverbs 29, 23.
Proverbs 29:23. The pride of man brings him low, but the humble in spirit obtains esteem.
The humble in spirit obtain glory. But pride is going to keep you off the floor. It keep you from being humble. Pride does. Hold on, you want me to get down? Hold on, yeah. Give me something I can kneel on, so I don't get nothing on my pants here. Hold on, just lay something down here. Somebody sweep up right here so I can get down on the floor. Right. Pride keeps you from getting low, but it brings you to a low status. That pride does brings you to a low status because you're not able to receive what it is that the Most High is trying to give you. He's going to lift up the one who has that humility, and he's going to glorify that one. So in that regards, you and your physical highness is going to bring you low from a spiritual standpoint. And so that's the same thing we see with Yeshua. And when he's coming and he's doing all these things, and these people who's supposed to know and understand who he is rejecting them, those ones, those learned and top ones are rejecting them. And then the people, the regular person is receiving him. Because they're receiving that revelation that's coming from the Father, and they're understanding who Yeshua really is, and they're able to see what the pride and the carnal mind is stopping these other people from sinning. Let's see here. I also want to talk about verse 20. Look over at back in Luke chapter 10. Look at verse 20. Actually, 18, 19, 20.
Luke 10:18. And he said to them, I saw Satan falling out of the heaven as lightning. See, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the heavens.
Okay, very good. So when we look at these sent out ones, we look at these sent out ones, and they've been given this power from the master, where they're able to see these spiritual things, and they've received this authority from the master, where they're able to go out and literally do the things that Yeshua is doing. They have every opportunity has happened to cause them to be able to look at themselves and say, hey, I'm something here. I got these abilities. I'm able to do, ain't no difference between me and Yeshua. He got me up here calling him master, and I'm doing all the things that he can do. Like, that could be like a real thing that could happen if them people don't act right. Good.
I already want to say it. Good, Lord.
Yeah.
I said the sun just came back.
Yeah, the cycle's coming back. I saw Satan falling out of the house, like out of the light.
She was saying, I don't know why she's shy, but she was saying they came back and they was all happy. The
Oh,
disciples were excited.
yeah, because I guess they would be excited. It says they returned with joy because of what they was able to do. Even the demons are subject to us in your name. They said they came back with joy, not being able to fully even comprehend all of the power that they had and what they was able to see. But the key is the fact that they was able to realize that this power was delegated to them from the master. And then Yeshua, he said, do not rejoice in this. Hold on, did we read 20?
Yeah.
He said, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in the heavens. You have been given this power, delegated power through the Spirit of the Most High. But it's not about that thing, that power, that authority that you're able to manifest, because that's only from on high. You rejoice by simple fact of that you actually have been chosen to do the work, and that you've been chosen and written in the heavens.
Yep.
And the byproduct of that is these things that you're out here doing. But he said to them, rejoice in the fact that you have been chosen to be one of these workers, to do this work that is the actual purpose of Yeshua's actual purpose on this earth. Go over to Ephesians chapter 2, and let's look at verses 4 through 10.
Ephesians 2:4. But Elohim, who is rich in compassion, because of his great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in trespasses, made us alive together with Messiah. By favor you have been saved, and raised us up together, and made us sit together in the heavenlies in Messiah Yeshua, in order to show in the coming ages the exceeding riches of his favor and kindness towards us in Messiah Yeshua. For by favor you have been saved through belief, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Elohim. It is not by works, so that no one should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Messiah Yeshua unto good works, which Elohim prepared beforehand that we should walk in them.
Okay, very good. So it's interesting when we look at these verses over here and kind of compare them to what we see over with Yeshua sending out his disciples and them have an understanding of what their mission and call is, and the necessity for them to be able to maintain their humility, despite the fact that they've been given these, chosen and given this authority to have power over these spiritual forces that are over these people and these places that they're going. When we look over in Ephesians over here, he's the message is this position, this place that you are in, this reality that you are experiencing is not something that you worked for. It's because of the goodness of the Most High that he chose you. It's not something that you can boast about because you didn't earn it.
Yeah.
The same thing is true for the disciples, the 70 disciples that he sent out. They didn't deserve, they didn't have a place for boasting because the thing that they was doing didn't have anything to do with their own abilities. It had to do with the Messiah choosing them and going out on the strength of his name and his power. And so the same thing is true, like we're, called the same way that these 70 people were called to go out and do this work. To go out and spread this message of the coming of the kingdom of Elohim and to expand the kingdom of the Most High. And, from all the way back to going back over to Luke, going back all the way over back to the prophets and the kings that existed in the times before Messiah, these people all prophesied and all read about all of the things that Yeshua was, or Messiah, who ends up being Yeshua. They read about and talked about, and they lived a whole life, speaking about all of the things that was to come, and then when it came, they didn't even see it. But he said, blessed are the eyes of you who did see the revelation of Messiah, and that you're able to experience the Master who has come. And not only experience, but participate in it. And so kind of just, kind of wrapping all this up, when we think about the idea of the sending out of these disciples, it's interesting when we think about the fact that they were these unknown people. I'm saying unknown as far as unnamed. Like there's all these other ones who were sent out, and they walked around and did the same exact things that the 12 that you knew of did. They did the exact same thing that Yeshua did. And they're just as important as the named ones and Yeshua. In fact, he prayed for those unnamed ones that they would be able to be ones who could stand up and go and do the purpose and the will of the Most High. And so the same way it is for them, it is for each and every one of us, where nothing has changed. In fact, it's the same. It's exactly the same.
It's the same.
The same thing that was true when he said the harvest is great, but the workers is few, is true for you and I. It's necessary for us to understand that we have a duty as someone who, when you receive Messiah, when you receive Yeshua, it's your duty to then go and do the thing that happened to you. Somebody told you about Messiah. And then so it becomes necessary for you to then go and tell somebody about Messiah. And so that someone is able to experience the thing that you've experienced. And so that we're all able to expand this kingdom and allow for the Most High's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts, questions, comments about any of those things?
I was going to say something, man. I don't know if you're reverse to this. I was going to say, but like choice of picking, I thought of the time with Gideon and all the men came together and how the father told Gideon, well, they had so many men, and he made the men go to the lake to drink of the water. And then a certain way they drank, he said, oh, take them away. It, like, I thought of that as like how Joshua chose his disciples. And I was using that.
Yeah, well, when you think about, thinking about it from that perspective, we know that the Most High is going to choose who he's going to choose based on his reasoning. And so, even when we see right here, the people who did believe because it was revealed to them from a spiritual standpoint. They had the revelation. But from our perspective, we don't know who chooses. Like I can't look and be like, well, he ain't going to choose, so I ain't going to speak to him.
It's spiritual at that point. You don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't know what the Most High's plan is for each individual just based on what we're looking at. Because you might not be looking at the person in his fullness. You just looking at a version of the person, right? But the Most High is able to see all beneath all of that. And so we have to just go and do the work. We just got to go out and do the work. We got to go and say the things. We got to go out and do the things that the Most High calls for us to be doing. We need to go out with the message and repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. We have to go with the seed and throw it. And then when it lands on that fertile ground, then it will grow. But sometimes, you might be the tiller, right? You might be the one with the tool to go and break up the ground. You might go and be the one who got to deal with the soil or the man, the individual in his rawest state. And you're not gonna see the fruit. You won't see the fruit. All you'll see is this person in this raw state. You had to come along with the thing and break it down.
Yeah.
You don't see what's going to happen after that.
Yeah.
But we got to be ready to go and do our part, whatever that part is. And so there's a choosing. The Most High knows who will accept, and those are the ones that he chooses. But we can't know that. We just got to go and do the work. We can't be like choosy, like, oh man, I ain't gonna talk to that person. He ain't gonna even he a little crazy. He out here doing all the type of crazy stuff. I ain't gonna say nothing to that
And it be
person.
like that sometimes too. Look, I be like, let that. But we can't do that. I admit, I be like that sometimes too.
No, it's hard. It's,
Yeah.
it's hard to look at somebody and be like, but think about what you doing. You being the most high
Yeah.
over that person, and you done already judged them and said,
Exactly.
there ain't no help for you.
Right.
I'm just going I ain't even gonna waste my time with you. But that's not what Yeshua said. They went out and they did the thing, and then the ones who everybody was given an opportunity to choose or not choose. But then when they didn't choose, then you made a proclamation based on that. But it was a proclamation that was based on their acceptance or denial of what you gave. There wasn't a predetermination on your part. Your determination was based on like something that actually happened. Now you could really go and deal with somebody and then find out based on the interaction and say, well, there's nothing else I could do, and then be done with that person. But still somebody else could come behind you and have that thing that you didn't have.
Right.
But because of that initial conversation that you had, you didn't realize that you was breaking something up.
Right.
Because to you, it seemed like that person left the same way that you left them.
Yeah.
But really, you was breaking something up, for somebody else to come along and you didn't put the seed. Somebody else came and put the seed, but they had to get, that soil had to get broken up first.
That reminds me of advertising. They say it takes like 7 times for you to see something to convince you or to get you stuck in your head. So it's like, even if you told something one time, you really ain't convinced, unless you go on that track. So it's like, that's why they got commercials that show you the same thing. You be like, I done seen this so many times. But
Until
that's why.
all of a sudden it's embedded
It's
in your
in
mind.
you know the thing like it ain't nothing. And then even the enemy know that. So that's how we gotta be with this too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so just in closing, we just gotta understand that we are the workers. We are the sent out ones. We are the ones that have to go out and make that harvest be a harvest, so that the Most High will.
So with all that being said, what are some ways we can go out into society and speak to people, as everyday people?
I mean, you talk to people all the time in the world. Like, you don't gotta go and stand on a corner with a megaphone and it be like a thing where like you got your microphone or whatever and you out there doing whatever. You talk to people all the time, but what did you talk to them about? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you just talk to people just like you always, I don't know if you talk to people or not, but if you talk to people, you can talk to them about your shoes. I mean, maybe you quiet and don't talk to people.
Well, yeah, it's not.
Okay, there you go. So just instead of talking to them about whatever it is that you was going to already talk to them about, talk to them about something that's real. Because at the end of the day, we sit up here and we talk about all these things, and these things literally don't mean anything.
Right. Yeah.
And you just wasted. Time is an interesting thing. It don't stop. It just keep on going, and you can't go backwards. And so when you don't use that thing, it's not like you can rewind it and get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have opportunities. It don't even got to be a planned thing. Well, maybe to a degree it could be a planned thing. You could have these. You could go and make up these things that you gonna say, and just have them in your pocket. And then when you get the opportunity, pull it out. I don't mean pull it out. I'm saying like proverbially pull them out. You know what I'm saying? Just pull it out. Like just about Messiah though.
Mm-hmm.
Not just about, it ain't nothing for you to go up to somebody and be like, how about them Steelers? Not you, but that's how we talk. It's a nice day out, isn't it? How about the weather? Like, it ain't nothing for you to just say some random thing that doesn't mean anything to somebody.
You say how about them Steelers?
Huh?
She say how about them Steelers?
Like, yeah. You watch the Steelers game? You see the game? Oh man, them guys, they doing all right. Like, it ain't nothing for you to talk to somebody about nothing at any given time. But what if you replace that nothing with everything? Because that's what Yeshua is. He's everything. And so it's easy for us to say something about nothing. It should be that same level of easiness to say something about everything.
And you're gonna be looked at as weird. Because the world is not built like that. It's like everybody's into what they're into. And then if you come with anything like this, like when he's talking about the wolves, one of the most offensive things or ways to endanger yourself outside of insulting somebody is to tell them they're wrong. Don't nobody want to be told they're wrong.
And it don't even gotta be about you saying that, but know that if you saying that you need something, then that's what you saying. Like, I'm not sitting up there and be like, your life is, it's nothing. Your life, everything you think in this world is not
man.
You're not saying that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna say it like that.
But if you saying that they need
That's
something, is implied though.
Right.
And so it could potentially gets into confrontation.
Yeah.
And so the other part is that you got to know what you know.
Yeah.
Also, like, you got to know what you know. These people were prepared to go out,
It wasn't just sent out.
and
Yeah.
so you got to be an expert on whatever it is that you're an expert on, and that's what you can talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're an expert at, but whatever that thing is, you talk about that. You can't go into areas where you don't know because you can't, because it could get to be that thing where the truth is an offense to
Yeah.
those, because you're just saying what the truth is, and you might be saying it in the nicest possible way that you
Right.
can say it.
Yep.
But a person is only going to hear, what, you better than me? Oh,
Yep.
I'm not in a position to be able to do this or that. Like, I need help. Oh, and you got something that I don't got. Like, it could get to that place.
Quick.
But I think that's the whole idea of this thing of sheep going into in the midst of wolves. Like, it can become an environment that's hostile, and there's conflict.
Because once you challenge somebody's idea that they've been walking with, they settled into it. That's why he said that verse where it talks about the babes. He even himself said, "Look, you got to come to me as one of these little ones." That's in us, not just a child, but in a humble sense. Like, look, I don't know. When people can't put aside their idea to hear another perspective, because you can never hear the right thing if you hold on to that thing that's wrong so tight. You're going to hold on to this thing so tight that's wrong that you can never hear the right thing. And that's what a lot of people do. So when you come to them, like a wolf, they going to pull their teeth out like, wait, you telling me what I'm doing is wrong? And because it's comfort. The thing that you do each day that's a normal thing, I'm like, no, that's not right. People just generally don't want to hear that. But you would incorporate it with, first you got to know your word, because there's a lot of examples in there. And so you can just come with a meek spirit and just be like, look, maybe you want to look into this, or give them an example. What worked with me is a lot of times when people hold on to something that is wicked, you can use logic to break it down. Like we, you know, you just gotta use your brain a little bit. Just be like, because ultimately that thing that they're holding on to is going to lead to something damaging. It don't lead to nothing fruitful. And so if you can just walk them through that in their mind to make them see and realize, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this. Then that's how you're gonna want to look.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, I think it begins with the mind to want to do it, and then figuring out the how part, because it is I mean it's warfare. It really is warfare, but you have to choose to want to do it first, and then and then you just go from there. But depending on the one situation, I think the other part is it just sometimes you just got to know how to just put your little thing in and just get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You say whatever it is. You might got a thing that you say. You put that thing in there, and it don't even got to be about a back and forth. You say, I said what I said, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everybody's not for the fight, but the fight could be, you could just be dropping bombs. You know what I mean? It's just you got this thing, you got this thing. It ain't about that. You're not the infantry. You're not in there just. You know what I mean? You just, you doing your little, it could be a little stealth attack or whatever. It don't even, I'm saying that, but it got to be something though. You know what I mean?
But let me add this.
It's good.
Sometimes when it starts, the Spirit will help you. Because like I said, this is logical. Like, we study this word and all that, but we supposed to be studying this to simplify it, to help people to get it so it makes sense. A lot of people, we got all these divisions and everybody uses the same book and don't see eye to eye on so many things because to me, they ain't simplifying it down to the common denominator enough. And so, but when you got that genuine spirit and you know enough of it, the Spirit will help you. Just like he told Moses and them, and like, look, just go do what I told you to do. Yeah. I'll help you the rest of the way. Because these people, when they're down, generally they ain't thinking all the way anyway. And if you thinking all the way, or you got a hand up on them, so you can be ahead of them a little bit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I think when you got enough word in you, it just comes out.
Yeah, it just happens.
When you got enough word in you, it just come out, and then because even when you think about people misread this sometimes, because in the Luke 10:4 when it says don't take a purse or script, it sounds just like script, like something that you wrote, and so. When you think about, I think other places might say don't think about what to say. Where when you got enough word in you, when the time comes, it come out.
Yeah.
And so you gotta have that word inside of you, and then once that's in, that's what I'm saying. You gotta know what you know. Because when it comes time to be used, if you let the Most High use you, it'll just come out what needs to come out. Then you could, I'm not so much now, but I was at a time where I was like, confrontation was like I enjoyed it. So I spent a lot of time in town, so I would go around and just be talking to people about things. But when you get into some of those situations, it's almost like you get into this thing where you're looking at your own self and listening to your own self talking. Like, man, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. Because you're not thinking about it. It's just coming out. And so, the most important thing is to get that word in you. And when it's in you, it'll come out. Okay.
what I always try to do is, when somebody is going against the word or wickedness, is to come up with an answer they don't got an answer for. Eventually it'll get to that, because the righteousness, right, being right is right. And so when you come up with the right answer that they can't, because now you got to be retarded, or you got to go outside of, and then you're going to prove your wickedness at that point. And so that's all I do. I want you to do that. It's like, okay, now you're just proving that you want to be with Satan. At that point, you don't want to be right.
Right is right.
Right is right.
Right is right. That's true. That's
Come up
right.
with the best right answer that will line up either with the word or logic. And if they go up against that, you dealing with a crazy person.
It's called mentally ill.
Yeah, mentally ill, whatever it is. So yeah, there you go. Then you just pray for them. Now you just gotta go pray for them.
Okay. That's funny. All right. So that being said, I guess we can be done for now. Y'all willing? We'll be back on next Shabbat to continue with our look at not only the Torah portion, but also the words of the Master. So, to say for now, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thing